So to monitor HANA database, we can use the HANA Studio, and we can also use the SAP applications. Okay, if you are running SAP application on the HANA database, then you can use a DBA cockpit, and you can monitor the database as well. Okay, so same thing whatever we do in the HANA Studio, and the same thing you can do in the DBA cockpit only, cockpit as well. The thing is that different is that for the DB cockpit, you don't require the database level access. Okay, but HANA Studio, if you want to monitoring from the HANA Studio, then you require a user ID and the password of the database user, database user ID and the password. You require database user ID and the password if you want to monitor the HANA database through the HANA Studio. Okay. If you want to monitor from the applications, then only you require a application user's ID and password in SAP applications and the access for the DBA cockpit T code. That's it. Okay. You don't require database user ID if you are monitoring from the SAP applications. Yeah. So that is the difference. So basically, in HANA database, in HANA 2.0, we have the concept called multi-data container. Okay, so in that we have the system DB and we have the tenant DB. Okay, to monitor these systems, okay, we have to log in into the system DB. So system DB basically is for the HANA admin or basis consultant. So they monitor the disk utilizations, CPU utilizations, and the memory utilizations, and they check the alerts. These all these things they do in system DB. Okay, in tenant DB you can also you can monitor those things. So these all are the if you see that hardware side, that is the CPU, memory, and the disk. Okay, that is shared in 2.0 in multi-data container. So that is used by the system DB and the tenant DB as well. Okay, so the thing is that you cannot monitor the tenant database size from the system DB. Okay, other things you can monitor from the system DB. So system DB you can monitor anything in the HANA database, but you cannot check or monitor the database size of the tenant database. To monitor the size of the tenant database, you have to log in into that particular tenant database, and you can see the size of the tenant database DB size. Yeah, we will see that one. So here is the system DB. If you see that this is the system DB, so log into the system DB with DB users. So here I'm using the system users, and the password is welcome one. Then double click here, so it will open the administrator console. Okay, so administrator overviews. So what we have to check here. Okay, so what we have to check here. So basically here we can check operational status. So in the daily monitoring, we can check whether all services are running or not. So if you see that here, it is saying that all services started. That means that all the services in the HANA database are started, and the status is green. Okay. The uses is the development systems. So this is a development system. If it is the quality or production, then you will be here here. If it is production, then it will be written as a production here. Okay. Here start time for first started services and the most recently started services. So here if you see that, you can see here start time of the services. Okay, so this may be different, these two, this one and this one. Okay, for example, I have started the servers 2 months back. Okay, and after that suddenly some the services are restarted. Okay, so then the timing will be different here. Okay, so actually start time will be different. Okay, and then the recent restarted services, the time will be different. So it is saying that which one is the which services is restarted recently. If you see that the timing is 122 2222, but here is 2358. Okay, so by looking this one, I can say that my services started after the first system restart. Okay, that time my services started. So this way you can identify which services is started. If you go in landscape here in the services, so you can see here which services is restarted recently. If you see that this one, and yeah, this one is restarted at the end. Okay, 123:58. So this is the web dispatches. Yeah. So from here you can see which services restarted recently. Yeah. So here,
Uh, 1 minute. Which means start time of first started service means all the services you are. It means the first one.
yeah, first one means when you do the execute the command HDB start. Okay, so that time
Ah,
whatever is started, that is the first one. And then after that, if something is happening in the database and some services is restarted automatically, then you will be having the different value here. Yeah, so
ah,
most recent started services. Clear?
yeah, yeah.
The below distributed systems, whether it is single or distributed, here distributed system is no. That means that this system is a single system installations. In distributed, we have the multiple nodes. Okay, so right now it is no. If you have the distributed system, then here you will be having the yes. Okay, version. If you see that this is the version of the HANA database, so HANA database version is 2.0, and then support pack is 03, and the revision is 031, and the 00 is the maintenance revision. Yeah. So if someone asks what is the your version, then you can say this thing till here maintenance revision. So this is my HANA database version. Yeah. Build time. So this is the build time for the OS. When the OS is built, it is built on June 12, 2018, and then platform which OS we are running on the box on the servers. It is a SUSE Linux Enterprise 12.3. So on this OS, we we have installed the HANA database. Yeah. This is the kernels of the OS. Okay, so no need to go to the OS level and check the kernel. You can check it from here as well. So this is the kernels available in the operating systems. It is installed on the VMware. So hardware manufacturer, it is a VMware. Okay, so you can install on the physical servers. Okay, if it is physical server, for example, Dell servers or Fujitsu or HP, so you will be having here the manufacturing name Dell HP. But right now this is installed on the VM virtual machine. Yeah, that's the reason we are having here a VMware. Yeah. If you see here, it will show you the alerts, current alerts. Okay, so current alerts and the messages. So this current alert and messages, if you see here, I have only one alert, that is the medium. Okay, if you click on this show alert, it will take you to alert tab. Here is the alert tab, so it will take you in that one. So I'm clicking here, so it will take you to alert tabs. Okay, so here you can see the all the alerts. If you see that the latest alert, that is the data backups does not exist. Without the data backups, your database cannot be restore recover. Okay, so this is the medium alert. Okay, so that, and this is the information. If you see that this is the information, this is the information. If you see this medium alert, if you double click here, okay, so it will show you that alert name. So it says that the database backups does not exist. Without data backups, your database cannot be recovered. Okay, so by looking this, so either we can take up backups, okay, but if you don't know what action need to be performed to resolve this error, so you can see the user action here. So it also give the alerts and the solution as well. It says that perform the database backup as soon as possible. Okay, so here is the alert, and here we have the solution as well. So here it will give you the hint, some hint, so that based on this hint you can act on the alerts. So all and also all the alerts in HANA database, you will be having the user actions. Okay, so this is the alert type, ID type. So 35 is the alert for database backup. So in HANA database we have the alert IDs. Okay, if you don't know the alert ID, you can by using the notification this the message, you can check it. So basically every alert in HANA database have the ID. So for this alert it is a 23. So it says that medium or high alerts occur, investigate the alerts. Okay, so yeah, so this is the alerts, this one. So to resolve this one, you have to take the backups. Once you take the backup, this alert will be removed from the alert mechanisms. Yeah.
Do we need to mention anywhere to keep the alerts here?
No. We don't need to maintain the alerts. So this is daily alerts. So just check if it is critical, resolve it, and then ignore once it is resolved. So that alert will be automatically removed from the from this screen.
I mean, it is automatically will be done, will be
Yeah. So
created.
next, yeah, this is automatically created in the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will come to that point. Yeah. So let me finish one tab one by one. Yeah. So here, if you see that use memory, this is the use memory by the HANA database. So we have two types of memory in HANA database. One is the HANA used memory, and the other is the resident memory. Okay. So HANA used memory is nothing but used memory by HANA processes. Okay, only HANA. Okay. So if you see that here we have the used memory, peak used memory, and the allocation limit. So currently the allocated memory is 28 GB. Okay, so 28 GB is allocated to my HANA database. Okay, out of 8.59 GB is currently is used. This is current use. 8.59 is current use, and then this is the peak use, that is the highest use, 9.71. Yeah. So this is the current allocations, this is the current use, and this is the peak use, maximum use. Yeah. So I can see that the lot of memory are free in my HANA database. So till here it is used. Okay. So basically this is important in monitoring. So we can identify that we can monitor, and we can say that not we can say that. So while monitoring, we can check that whether I have free memory available in my HANA database or not. Okay. So based on that, I can act on that. So daily monitoring is for HANA database, not only HANA, for all the system is necessary to monitor your CPU memory and the disk utilizations. Yeah, to avoid downtime and all that. If your memory is full or your disk full, okay, so you will face some performance issue, something like. Okay, to avoid those things, we have to proactively monitor, and we have to resolve those things. If memory we don't have, then we have to add the memory in the HANA database. Yeah. If you go below in resident memory, so this resident memory is nothing but a physical memory. Okay, so currently physical memory is 31.21 in the systems. Okay, and in that the maximum is use is 22.78. So 22.78 GB is max use, and then 9.6 is the current use. Okay, so this resident memory is nothing but equal to your HANA use memory plus OS related memory, OS related process use memory. Okay, so in HANA database we have in the systems we have we have the many processes are running. One are the HANA processes, and another are the OS processes. Okay, so HANA processes and the other processes use memory is nothing but resident memory. Okay, so resident memory. Currently I have assigned, that is the 31.21, that is the physical memory. Okay, and out of 9.06 is used. Okay, it is include your HANA use memory plus OS use memory, and this 22 is the peak use memory. Yeah, clear this one?
That if the 22.78 is got filled,
yeah,
yeah, then can we have to extend that, or it will be how it is? We have to remove that.
this is filled up to 31 or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it, that 22.78, if it goes to 31.21,
Yeah,
so then we.
yeah, so in that case we have to install the memory. We have to add additional memory, or we have to restart the HANA database. Once you restart, this used memory will be freed from the database.
Okay.
Okay, so it is,
Okay, sir.
if it is filled up, then you will be facing a performance issue.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. That's right.
So yeah, so basically you will face a performance issue. To avoid those things, you restart or you add additional memory. Okay.
And is there any specific can we see like OS related memory where it is there?
OS level you can see that one.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
Yes. If you execute top command, so it will show you that 27 is used. So this is include your OS plus your HANA processor. Whatever process is running, that is nothing but this thing. So if you see here, these all are the processes. Sorry, these all are the processes. Okay, this is the HANA processes. Okay, and this is the non-HANA processes. Okay, so these all uses your memory CPUs. Okay, if you see that this is the CPU. Okay, this is the memory. Yeah, this is the memory part. If you see this one, the memory part. Okay, so here you can see that one. Okay. So basically what we have to monitor, so this is the main. If you monitor this one, if you act on this one, then automatically this will not going to fill. If it is getting filled, if you have taken the actions, then this will not be filled up. Okay, so basically this is the important area. This is the important area. Okay. Okay, so CPU utilization. So CPU utilization, if you see here, we have the percentage. So it is not 100 CPU, it is percentage. If you see that, this is the percentage. Okay, if you have one CPU or you have two CPU, here you will be, here it will be show as a percentage. Okay, so this is the 100% CPU. Okay, and out of 100, the current use is 25%, and the maximum is the 33 percentages. Okay, so this is not in number, this is in percentage. Okay, if you see, I have I think 4 CPU I have in that one. ls info, some command is there, I forgot that. lso info ls CPU info, some command is there which will show you that how many CPU, logical CPU you have in the OS level. So currently I think it is 4, so it is showing in the percentage. So if you have 4, 3, 5, 10, 100, 200, it will show you in the percentage. And here is the current uses. This is the current uses, database CPU uses, and this is the maximum uses, total CPU uses. Yeah. If we come here, disk uses. So in HANA database, we have the data volumes, we have the log volumes, and we have the trace. Okay. So so in the log volumes, we have the logs. In the data volumes, we have the data, and in the trace, we have the all the logs, systems related logs, system restart logs. Those will be available here. So this logs is different, and this trace volumes is different. So here you will be having the database logs. Okay, database redo log, and this is trace file is nothing but the OS level logs. Okay, whenever you stop HANA database, so the log is written for all the services. So these services will start and stop. Okay, so while starting and stopping, the logs for each and every services are created at the OS level, and those store at the trace volumes. So we have the trace volumes in the OS level. There we can see the logs of the system restart or any logs in the HANA database. Okay, so if you see that data volumes, so current my file system size is 187.65 GB. So this is my file system size. This is my file system size. Okay, so here these file systems, I have installed my HANA database, and my data volumes is there in these file systems. Okay, so if you see that maximum use, okay, this data volumes is 102. Okay, 102 is the maximum use. Okay, and then actual data volumes, actual database size for my database, that is the HD one, is 5 GB, 5.05. So 5.05 is actual database size. Okay, and 101 is the other files including 505. So in 101 I have the 505 plus others files as well. So other files, what we have in that, we have the DVDs. We have stored all the DVDs here. Okay, so if we see that, okay, so here we have DVD store. So this DVD is nothing but including the 101 uses. Yeah, so I have stored my DVDs on this 187. So right now I have only one file system, that is the root. Okay, so that is the root. This one is, I have only one file systems. Okay, and that's the reason here I am getting 187 for the data volumes, 187 for the log volumes, and 187 for the trace volume. So this all three are on the same volumes. Okay, and this is the actual data size, the HANA database. When I take backups, I will take backup for 5 GB only. Okay, and this is the total disk uses. This is the total disk uses. Okay, total file system uses, and this is the total disk size. So total disk size is nothing but the 187. Same like for the log volumes. So current log volume size is 1.38, and this is the total disk uses, and this is the file system size for the log. Same for the trace one. So if you see that actual data is 5.50, actual log is 1.38 GB, and the actual trace file is 0.02 GB. Yeah. So this is the actual. Okay, if you take a backup, and if you want to restore, then this only restore. Okay, this will only get backup, and this only restore. This will not. So this is something garbage thing we have store on the particular file systems. Yeah, clear this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What are the real-time scenarios which you have faced in this particular one from this screen?
So real time scenario, we have the different file system for all three.
No, real-time scenarios like monitoring. Like, do we have any file like how we do in the basis like monitoring transaction codes? What the things we need to do? We have like that in this HANA as well?
So this is the monitoring. What we are talking. This is the monitoring.
Yeah, correct. So, what are the things we will be doing in the real-time scenarios? Like, do we need to note all these things?
Correct. So these all we have to.
Scenarios.
Yeah, correct. So this we have to note with all these things on Excel sheet. Okay, same like the basis team is doing in SAP application. When they execute the T codes, they note down those things in the Excel. Okay, so for the daily reporting, they do the daily reporting. So in that they note and capture everything, so that it will be recorded, and that will be helpful. In case of your upgrading the memory and CPU, so you can easily say that last 1 month back the CPU utilization was 10%, and now it is 90%. Then we have to increase the CPU. So this we have to record in somewhere Excel sheet. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So when you are working on a support project, so uh, so so the basis team or the HANA admin team, whatever it is, so they will be capturing those all these things. So they don't know they know that my current what is my current size. Okay, what is my current size, and then they record this thing, data volumes. What is the current data volumes is 5.0, log volumes is 1.38, the usage is maximum usage this one, current usage this one. So they if it is huge organization, then the monitoring team will be different. Okay, so dedicated monitoring team will be there, and they will be continuously monitoring your system. So every 2 hours they create a reports and all that. Okay, so basically those will be done by the freshers. So, and obviously the document should be there to prepare those sheets, Excel sheet. Yeah. Okay, if someone say that what is your database size in HANA database? Okay, so you have to say this one. So my database size is 5.05. So 5.05 is my current database size. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So if you see, I'm only monitoring this database size, data volume size for my system DB. Okay, if you want to monitor for tenant, then you have to log in tenant and you have to monitors. Okay, in tenant and system DB, the file size 187 will be common. Okay, so this will be common. Okay, this that is the total disk size. Okay, the file systems will be common for your system DB and will be common for your tenant database. Yeah, same like for CPU and the memory. Okay, CPU, memory, and the file systems will be common for your system DB and the tenant DB. But to monitor the data volumes for tenant database, you have to log in that particular tenant database. Clear this one?
This 5.05 will not be the common in the tenant and this one 5.05.
Correct. So it is not common. So this 5.05 is the data volume size for system DB.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to see for tenant, then you have to log in into the tenant database, and
This
from there you can see.
This 187.65 will be the common.
Common. Yeah, this is common.
Okay. No, the top one, the same on the host Linux 50. The last. This 187.65.
Yeah, this will be common.
Okay.
This one, this will be too common. 187.65 will be common. I will show you that. Let me log into the tenant database. Tenant, yeah, this one is tenant. HT1. So I'm opening that one. So if you see that here, I have different size for 4.88 for my tenant database, but this is common. This is common. This is common. This is common. Okay. Only the difference is this one, your data volume. So data volumes will be different for your tenant and the system DB. Yeah, this one. All other will be common. Yeah, because it is shared. Even memory is shared. So memory is common. Everything is common. Yeah. Clear this one?
Yeah.
So you monitor from system DB everything, and for database growth, just monitor from the tenant database. Yeah.
The CPU is different, right? CPU usage.
No, it's same. It is uses. If I refresh here, then it will, it will be changing. Okay, so it will be changing. Yeah. So it is utilization. So it will be changing. So in 1 minute, in seconds, the CPU and memory utilization is changing. But this will not change because we are not entering any data. So that will be common. That maybe if there is a continuous data changes, then obviously it will change after refresh. And this is the CPU memory utilization is depends upon the processes. Okay, so if you refresh, you won't find the the same year and same year. Yeah, but if you monitor CPU and the memory utilization from system DB, then it will automatically get monitored for the tenant database. Yeah, so all the usage utilization for tenants and the system DB for memory and the CPU will be monitored from one system DB. So if you monitor from the system DB or tenant database, from the tenant database for CPU and the memory, that is enough. Either one can be work. Okay, but for the data volumes, you have to go in that particular database and you have to check it. Okay. Landscape. So in that landscape, we have the services. Okay. So here we can see that host name, and here is the port number of these all services. Here we have the services called compile server, demo, name servers, preprocessor, SAP starter service, and the web dispatches. Okay. So if you see that here we don't have the index servers. Okay. So in system DB, we don't have the index servers. We have index servers in the tenant database. Okay, so reason Why reason? What is the reason behind? Because in systemdb we don't store any data. Okay, data is always stored in the tenant database, and the index server are used for data storage. Yeah, all the data will be available on your tenant database, not in the systemdb. Systemdb is for only monitoring purpose, administrative purpose for the HANA admin and the basis team. Yeah. These all are the CPU utilizations, restart time, memory utilization for single services. You can monitor this here. If you see that here name servers, so when we connect to um, HANA database through a systemdb, so it connect to a name servers. Okay, so it connect to name servers on external port. This is the SQL port of the name servers. So when we connect through the HANA Studio to a systemdb, then it connect to SQL port 3001813. So 00 is my instance number. If your instance number is 01, then it will be 30113. So on this port we are connecting to systemdb from the HANA Studio. Yeah, this is the port. Yeah. If you see on the tenant database, so tenant database we are connecting to external port of index servers. If you see that here we have the index servers, and here is the port number. Here it will be the port number of the index server. So here it is showing for the name servers, but it is not the correct one. It is a bug in the systems. Okay. So yeah, sorry, here is the name server. Sorry, I thought it is the name server. So if you see that in the tenant database we have the index servers. Okay, so we connect tenant database through a HANA Studio on the SQL port, that is the 30015. So this is 30015 for the tenant database. Okay, so if your instance number is 01, then it will be a 30115. And if you see in the systemdb, we have the index servers. Okay, so we connect to we connect to the name servers. Okay, and the port for external port for the name servers, that is SQL port, is 30013. So here we have the 13 in the systemdb for the name servers, and for the tenant database for the index servers we have the port number 15 at the end. Only 3 and 5 is different. Okay, so basically in systemdb we have only we don't have the index servers. Okay, when you connect from HANA Studio to a systemdb, then it will connect to a name servers on this SQL port. Okay, on this SQL port Okay, when you connect a tenant database from the HANA Studio, it will connect to a index servers SQL port, and the index servers SQL port is this one, 30015. Clear this one? Any question here?
No, sir. Fine.
Yes.
This actually in the architecture we have discussed, all the data will be stored in the index server only, right?
Yeah, correct.
But now we are saying that in the main HANA database, it doesn't have the index server.
Yeah, in systemdb we don't have the index servers. So systemdb is not used for the storing the data.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the reason we don't have the index servers in the systemdb. So index server is used only for the basis consultant, HANA admin. They monitor the systems using the systemdb. They take a backups of the tenant database from the systemdb. They recover your restore the tenant database using the systemdb. So the systemdb is only for the administrative purpose. Okay, so end user data will not be there in systemdb. The end user data will be actual data will be there in tenant database, where my index server is running. Clear this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the big difference in systemdb and the tenant database. So somebody, if you're going for the interview, they will ask what is the difference between systemdb and tenantdb. Where will be my index servers? Okay, like this question they will ask. Okay, fine, we'll move ahead. Okay, so yeah, your host, here you will be having a host. Right now I have one single host. Okay, so here it is showing me only one host. Yeah, if you have the multiple host, multiple node, like a distributed installation, then here you will be having a multiple host. Okay, read distributions. it is something like if you're having the multi-node systems. Okay, so sometime whenever you create a tables, new tables, and you want new tables or even existing tables, if you want to do a partitioning, so you can do the partitioning over here. So number of partition will be created, and then those will be automatically distributed on the multiple nodes. Yeah, so this is something table partitioning and table distributions on multiple nodes. Yeah. System replications, when you have configured the HA or DR. Okay, so you will be having the host, the HA host or DR host. So in HA and DR, what we have the primary database and the secondary database. Okay, so primary and the secondary database will be listed here. Okay, and the replication mode, what replication mode you have configured, what is the status for the replications, what is the last log ship. Okay, so basically, what is the last save points? Okay, last save point log position. Basically, it is used to monitor your replications. So replication is nothing but to monitor your primary and the secondary database. So in HANA system replication, what happens when you configure the logs is getting shipped from primary to secondary. Okay, if your primary is stop working, is crashed, then your secondary will be available to handle the user's request. Yeah, so that is nothing but a system replication HA and DR configuration that we'll see later at the end theory part. Alert. Okay, so in the alerts, okay, we can monitor the alerts. Okay, so as I told that you can double click on that, and the user action will be you can see the user action, what action you have to perform. Okay, but how this alert is you're getting. Okay, so there is a threshold is configured in the systems. Okay, so based on the threshold, this alert is getting generated. So you can modify the threshold value for this alert. So how you can modify? You can click on the configure check systems. Okay, okay, and then here we have the configure checks threshold. So you can change the threshold as per your requirement. Okay, for example, if you see that memory uses, okay, if your memory uses is 95%, then you will be getting a low alert. Okay, if your memory utilization is 98%, then you will be getting a medium alert. If your memory utilization is 100%, then you will be getting a high alert. So this is not this is the default one, and I think this is not good. So if you are getting the alert on 95, 98, 100, then what is the use? Okay, so what I will do, I will configure this one. If my memory utilization is 80%, then I should get a low alert. If my memory utilization is 90%, then I should get a medium alert. So if my memory utilization is 95%, then it is high. Okay, so based on this I can configure my own and I can save it. Okay, if you save it, then if it is threshold is reached, memory uses threshold is reached, then based on that you will be getting the alerts in the systems. Yeah, so this way you can configure the threshold values for all the alerts. So we have different alerts here. If we have the alerts ID, this is the ID 1 2 3 4 5 blah blah blah, blah whatever it is. So and here we have the descriptions. Okay, and here we have the threshold values. So this threshold value you can configure for as per your requirement. Okay, also you can get this alert in your inbox. Okay, so here you can configure the sender email ID, SMTP servers, SMTP port number, and then recipient. Okay, so the people who want to receive the alerts in their inbox, you can configure here. You just put your email ID. For example, I will put here abdul@gmail.com. Okay, and then add. Okay, and then here I will be putting some sender email ID, something like no reply @gmail.com, and here I will be putting the google.com. Okay, my domain SMTP mail server, and this is the port number. This way I can configure and then click on the. Okay, so whenever the alert is generated, I'm getting the alerts in my inbox. Okay, so that is my Microsoft inbox. So based on your SMTP, you can use one. Although this is, I don't know whether it is correct or not. So this is So if you're having your company having the mail servers, so you have to put your company mail servers and the port numbers, and then your email ID, whatever it is. Yeah, like this. Any question here? That part.
No, it's clear.
Okay. For the performance. Okay. So here what we have here, whatever jobs are running in HANA database, those we can monitor. So in the systems we have the threads. Okay, threads and the sessions. Okay, so based on your CPU, these threads and session are generated. If you have the maximum number of CPUs in the HANA database, then you will be having a multiple, SQL executors and the job workers. Okay, so basically SQL executor and the job worker will help you to process the parallel request in the system. Yeah, so this all basically depends upon the your CPU, how many CPU you have in the systems. Yeah, so here if you see that here we have the host name, port numbers, services, connection ID, everything we have. So here what SQL statement is executing. So this is the thread details. So durations. So how long this statement is executing, and this is the user ID who's executing. This is the application user ID. Okay. So yeah, this all this thing. You can also go from this threads to session. Right click here, and then you can navigate to the session. Okay. So if you see session with connection ID, so it will take you to that particular session. So whatever session is running for that threads, they will be it will take you directly in that one. Okay. Okay, so basically not much here. Only you can just monitor which users executing what is skill statements. Those you can monitor. Yes, that's it. Okay, this is threads. This is the sessions. Here is the block transaction. If the developers or admin blocked any transactions, then those will be visible here. So how to block? The SQL command is there. So developers sometimes they block the transaction as per the maybe as per the requirement. Sometimes they block the transaction. Same like in SAP application, we log the transactions T code. The same way we can in the HANA database you can block the statement, that is the transactions. Yeah. SQL plain case, whatever is currently executing in the HANA database, those will be visible here. Okay. So whatever it is running in the systems, those you can see here. Okay. So this is the SQL plain case, same like some other database. Okay, so whatever currently is running, so if you see that I have logged in and I am doing the system monitoring activity, and here is this is underscore statistics. So this is underscore statistics is the schema where my all monitoring data is stored. Okay, so in these tables or in these schemas, all the monitoring data is stored, like CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk utilization, alerts, everything is stored in this schema. So I am getting the data from this schema. Okay, and that's the reason I in the SQL print case I can see those schema and the users and the skill statement. Expensive statement trace. So if you have executed the trace for the expensive statement, okay, then only the expensive statement is visible after the configuration. So you have to activate the trace for the expensive statements, and once it is activated, then you can see the list of the SQL statement which are the expensive in the systems. Okay, how to activate those things we'll cover in the configurations. Maybe tomorrow we'll take that configuration part. In that we'll see that how to activate the trace and all that. Yeah. Job progress. If any jobs in running in the HANA database, those you can see here. Okay, what are the jobs? It can be anything like backups. If you are running a backups, you are taking the backups. So backup progress you can see here. So backup is nothing but a job. So those jobs you can see here as well. Yeah. So here you will be having the jobs. Okay. If you want to cancel those jobs, then you just click right click and cancel it. You can cancel the job as well, I think. Yeah. Volumes ID, volumes. So it will show you the volumes for all your services. Okay. So right now in the system DB, I have the name servers which have the data volumes and the log volumes. Okay, so whenever you take a system DB backups, then name servers will get backed up. Okay, so if we open this one, here we have the data volumes and the log volumes. Okay, so in the data volumes and the log volumes, so it is stored at the OS level HANA data HB1. So this is the data and this is the log. So these are the log is generated. Okay, so the for tenant database, if you want to see, you can see the for tenant database as well. Okay, so in tenant database, we have the index servers and the XX engine. So for index servers and XX engine, have the data logs and the data and the log volumes. Okay, whenever you take a database backups of tenant database, then only the index servers and the access engine is get backup. Okay, and whenever you take a backup of the system DB, then only the tenant database, only the name servers services get backup. Okay, in system DB, whenever you take a database backup, the name server backup is triggered. Whenever you take a backup for the tenant database, then index server and XX services backup will trigger. Yeah, that is the difference. That is the another difference. Yeah. Configuration, we'll see that maybe tomorrow what configuration we have to do. So this is the big topic. We'll see tomorrow what are the configurations parameters we have to configure after the installations or after the support pack upgrade. Okay, so this is nothing but instance profile. If you in the SAP basis, so when we install the system, so after the installation we have the profile files, instance profiles, then default profiles, then start profiles. So in SAP systems we call a profiles, but here we call a INA files. Okay, these all are the configuration INA files. Okay, so what are the parameters we have to change after the configuration, that we'll see tomorrow. Okay, system informations. Okay, so in the system information, you can directly go to the some monitoring part. For example, if you want to see the expenses statement, okay, so we have the option here. We can go in performance and we can go to the expenses statement. But in the system information, some predefined statements are predefined SQL statements already configured. If you want to see this one, then go to directly here, and then it will take you to that screens. So it will show you the expenses statement. Okay, these are the predefined SQL statement is configured. SQL queries is configured here. For example, if you want to see the block transactions, then you click here. It will show you the block transactions. Okay, you can go here, or you can also go in performance and then block transactions. So two way you can go that. Okay, so we have the shortcut. We can say that we have the shortcuts. Yeah. Diagnostic files. So this diagnostic files is nothing but trace files. Okay, so if we go in overview tab, so this is nothing but a trace volumes. So this trace volumes is nothing but a diagnostic files. So whatever diagnostic files are stored, those store in trace volumes. Yeah, so this trace volumes store all the logs, that is the diagnostic files. Okay, whenever the system is started and restart, okay, so log file is created. So if you see that this is the log file backups, if you take a backup, then backup the files backup.log file will be created and it will store in the diagnostic file trace files. Okay, if you see that the latest one, for example, this is the name server tree. Okay, name server topology. So we have restarted the systems, so it will record everything. For example, here we have restarted. Okay, when you restarted, then the name servers. If you see here name servers, so what are the table is loaded. What are the tables or data is loaded in the memory, that you can see in the this one load. If you open that, double click, it will give you that this all is loaded. These all are the tables which is loaded in the memory. Okay, these all are the tables loaded into the memory. So these all are the tables, if you see that. Okay, these are table loaded into the memory. What are the unloads? So whatever unload is happen, those will be visible here. Okay, so these are the histories tables of unloaded from the memory. Yeah, you can see the availability logs. Yeah, system available, non available. Those you can see everything you can see here. Okay, so SDB demo status you can also see that running green. So these are all these things happening during the recorded during the restart and start. Okay, shutdown. Okay, startup. So all the logs you can see here. Even if you have enabled the trace, whatever trace you are configuring in trace configurations. Okay, for example, if you are activating a trace for the user specific. Okay, user specific means if you are activating the trace on the user specific, like for example you want to find out the missing authorization in HANA database, the user is getting authorization errors. So in HANA database it's very difficult to find out the what authorization is required for the database. Okay, so those you can configure the user specific trace, and then those trace will be generated here. Okay, based on the this naming convention. If you see that here is the naming convention. So services name underscore host name underscore dot port number dot context dot trace file. So this with uh, the file, the trace file will be created with this name. Okay, if you see here trace database trace, so by default this database trace is enabled. Okay, when we install the HANA database, so this database trace is enabled by default. Okay, so by default this is enabled. So this is maybe interview question. So when we install the HANA database, um, which trace is enabled by default? So this is the database trace. So this database trace is nothing but the services. Okay, whenever we start and stop the database, that time log file is created, trace file is created for the each and every services. So this is the naming convention for the trace files, which is generated in the diagnostic files. Okay, same like for others. For expensive statement, okay, expensive statement, if there is any expensive statement, okay, so those will be recorded here in performance in expensive statement. Okay, if you have enabled this one, we'll see that tomorrow. Expensive statement, SQL trace, if you are activated the SQL trace, then the SQL trace underscore host name port number blah 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 will be created in diagnostic files. Yeah, so where this diagnostic files is located at the OS levels. So OS level, if we go, it is in HANA shared HD1. Under that HD1 we have HDB. Under that we have the Linux host name, and then under that we have the trace. So this is nothing but a trace. If you see that these all are the trace files located at these locations. Okay, so this is, and this is same. This is whatever we have here, the same thing we have here. Okay, if you see ls -ltr, so whatever we can see there, we can see those from the OS level. Yeah, so no need to go to the OS level, you can monitor from diagnostic files as well. Okay, so not required OS level access. Clear this one?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So if you go in diagnostic files, so it will show you only the trace file for the system DB, not for the tenant database. Yeah, if you want to see for tenant database, then you have to log in the tenant database and go in the diagnostic files. Okay, so if you see that in tenant database we have the limited, we have very less amount of trace files, and here we have the more as compared to tenant database. Okay, OS level where it is stored in the tenant database. So if you see here, we have the this one db underscore hd1. In this folder, you will be having all the logs for the tenant database. Yeah, all the trace file for the tenant database. Yeah, so there you can see. Okay, Fine, we can stop now here, and tomorrow we'll meet at same time. We cover today for monitoring part. Any questions here?
What is schemas?
What is
Schemas. Schema.
uh,
Schema.
schema?
Yeah.
Yeah. So schema. So in HANA database, not in HANA, all the database. So that all the database having a schema. Okay, and in that schema, we have the tables, we have the data, users data. Okay, so if you see that your tables, security tables, if we create users in SU01, so those user is created and then stored in the some tables. For example, USR 0402, some tables is there. So those tables are present in the schema. Okay, so your database will be having a schema, and in that under that the all the tables, and in the tables data will be there. Okay,
So
the
what are the
schema is,
schemas? Yeah, I mean, what are the schemas we need to remember? Anything in HANA?
no, nothing like that. So basically, if you are running the SAP applications on the HANA database, so during the installation, it will ask you what schema you want to create. Okay, so basically, it's all depends upon the requirement. So somebody follows some other methodology, I follow some other methodology. So SAP says that earlier what happened, everyone keeping the default one, that is the SAP ABAP one schema. So this is the most of the system you will be having the SAP ABAP one as a schema in HANA database. But SAP recommend that you should have the SAP SR3 for the schema for development and quality into productions. Okay, so keep this one. So whenever I install the HANA database or SAP applications, I use SAP SR3 as a default schema. So while installing, it will ask you what schema you want to put. So you just put this one, SAP SR3. This SAP SR3 will be created in the database. So this you have to remember. So this is basically based on the what this schema is given by the basis tree. If you see in the HANA database, in tenant database, in catalogs, so these all are the schema, default schema. So when we install the HANA database, so this all schema is get created. This all schema is get created. Okay. If you are installing the SAP on HANA database, then you will be having the additional schema called SAP SR3. Okay. So whatever the basis schema is given, those schema you will be having here. Clear this one?
Is this the standard one? The one which you have selected now?
Yes. So this is the standard one.
No, this one underscores is this one.
Yeah. This is the by default.
Okay.
Default one, yeah, not the standard. Yeah, we can say not the standard, we can say, but this is the default schema available in the systems HANA database. Default one, we can say that.
Okay. I mean, we will be using only the standard one, which will not create any customized.
No, this we cannot use.
Okay. And when we install this HANA database, like what are the folders we can see here? Like we can see like backup, catalog, content provision.
So when we install the HANA database, this all we can see. Yeah, this things, backups, catalogs, content provisioning. I have not explained this one. Let me explain. So whenever you install the HANA database, this default will be created, this force. Okay, so this will be available in systemdb, and this will be available on the tenant database. Okay, so backups is used for taking the backups of the systemdb or tenant database. Catalogs, in the catalogs we have all the schemas. Okay, and in the schemas we have the tables. So basically catalogs contain the schemas, and schemas contain the tables, and in the tables we have the data. Okay, content is nothing but a design term objects. So the developers, BW team, BW consultant or a web consultant, they create a packages, they create a views. So those will be visible here. So they create a package, like right click on the content and then create package. Okay, they create a package, and then under the package, for example, I created this one. Okay, the package is created. Then under the package, they create their objects. So whatever object, these are the objects. Attributes you, calculations you, like this. Okay, so they create these all these things. So these are the development part. So those will be visible in the content. Okay, the provisioning. So basically, this provisioning is used for data transfer. So if you want to pull the data in HANA database from source system can be anything, non-SAP or SAP. If you want to replicate the data from non-SAP or SAP systems into the HANA database, then you have to configure the provisioning. You have to configure the smart data access or remote source. Yeah, this is nothing but a data provisioning techniques. Yeah, here is the security. So here you can create a users. So you can create a users. You can create a rules. Okay, so default users we have this one. So I will cover this in security part. Okay, so here you can create a users, and also you can create a rules. Yeah, this is the rules. This is all of the standard rules. Now default rules is available after the installations. In the security folders, under that security files, here you can define the audit. You can enable, disable the audit, and here you can configure the audit policies. Password policies you can also configure. Okay, if you are using a SAML and you want to configure the SSO with the SAML, then you can configure the SAML identity provider here. Okay, data volume encryptions, so you can encrypt the data volumes. Okay, so data volumes will be encrypted. So at the OS level, nobody will access your data if it is encrypted. So those things we have. So I will cover that security part, users and roles creations. Yeah, clear this one?
So in real-time scenarios, we'll be using the backup provisioning and the security, right?
Yeah, for
Content
the
and
HANA.
catalog. Yeah, content and catalog are we going to use or in real-time
No,
scenario?
that is the used by developers. This
Okay.
catalog and content. Yeah, they create the tables, they create objects. They use mostly.
Okay. And when we install this HANA database, like what are the standard users like will be available like we have in SAP user DDIC like that. So do we also have like any standard users in this HANA?
Yeah, we have that. I will cover in users and security part.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll stop, and tomorrow same time we'll meet at 8:30. Fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
available.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Thanks. I will upload the recording. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.